This is the 11 cultures landscape of innovation. It's a particular way of viewing innovation. It looks at the culture of capitalism, the culture of males, the culture of tool use, the culture of the United States, the culture of monkey hierarchies, the culture of MBAs, the culture of technologies and vendors, the culture of design, the culture of users, the culture of engineers, and the culture of big organizations. They are almost determinative of business manager outcomes, engineering outcomes, design outcomes. Their interactions is a whole thing, important world of its own. But right now, just those cultures as primary falsifiers and blocks to innovation. You have to handle those cultures to get innovation to occur. Most people are inside those cultures, and therefore they get things that aren't real innovation to occur. What I call innovation noises. The culture of capitalism is basically fake variety. Selling dissatisfaction with goods that you just sold already so that you can sell another advanced version of the good. Basically, it's innovation as an excuse to sell unneeded products. The culture of males is males value rank more than serving people. And innovation draws the attention of top monkeys and hierarchies, and therefore you get innovation for promotion that doesn't really help the customer or the world. Culture of tool use. Tools are invented as the form given to a powerful aim or motive. But tools get used by others of much weaker motive and redirected at ancillary little purposes that aren't very strongly felt. And the tool doesn't do much there, and you don't get much impact from it, and eventually people decide the tool doesn't work much. And so there you get innovation in terms of inventing new tools because you inauthentically used and lazily misused and misdirected and misunderstood earlier tools. The culture of the U.S. is really a place where nobody lives in the present, and the present, therefore, is very, very ugly. The people are ugly. Their souls are ugly. The way they treat a third of their population is terribly ugly. Their crime, their health system is ugly. Their houses are great. But basically, nobody is living in that. Foreigners and Asians and Europeans see the present there, but Americans don't see it. They're all living in the future. This allows great innovations, giant leaps with these Asperger's super male brains of people who don't care what other people's reactions are so they can focus and get weird things done. That's the Silicon Valley stuff. But most of that innovating done at Silicon Valley doesn't improve the present at all. So you end up innovations that don't improve anything. Then you have the culture of monkey hierarchy. This is internal tasks inside the hierarchy overshadow the mission of the hierarchy, and you lose all sense of the customers as everybody looks vertically instead of horizontally. You copy what works inside the organization until everybody's the same, and then the organization dies when a big environment shift occurs because there's no variety to respond to the shift in environment. This is innovating for vertical impact, not horizontal impact. Then you have the culture of technologies and vendors. This is toys for boys, hormonal markets, bubble markets, useless innovations. Vendors push more and more connectedness, technologies that increase connectedness. But this erodes difference and isolation needed for creativity. What we really need is what's called pulse systems, but nobody in the vendor world understands that. All these vendors have users of their devices, and the users use tiny fractions of the functions of the device. And then you have a rhythm of delusion, so that the same mistake people made in mainframes is now the cloud, another word for the same mistake, and they're going to suffer the same way, and they're going to leave the cloud the same reason they left mainframes before. So you see every 20 years the same old mistakes recurring. A rhythm of delusions. Tools for low-level stuff, no tools for indexing, organizing, shaping, contexting things, so that the can increases, but does decreases. Useless and unused innovating. Then you have the culture of design. This is really split communities, equations type design, artistic type design, social force design of laws and policies, fashion design. Then you have them all educated as wimps, in other words, low in status, low in salary, not trained in social influence and power handling. This is innovation thwarted and eroded by lack of power, lack of influence skills, and a culture of bitching at the client for being too conservative develops. Then you have the culture of users. Again, it's a hormonal, male hormone market of bubbles, which means toys for boys, useless innovations. You get lots of technologies that don't improve performance very much. Very few people and organizations find what these new technologies can actually be made to do. This is substrate change substituting itself for actually innovating in engineering. Then you have the culture of engineers, the culture of MBAs, and the culture of big organizations, which I saved to last. Culture of engineers is basically people with low social and emotional skill hiding behind math. You have curriculums that teach everything except how to handle money and power. And then you have late career bitterness at their own lack of power and influence over their own careers. And as a result, very little engineering happens. It's mostly taking subsystems off of shelves, reshuffling them and tweaking them so you can reshuffle it, recombine them. It's replacing engineering and innovating. Then you have the culture of MBAs, which is people who are psychopaths and therefore want to go into MBA programs. They use others ruthlessly. They have no empathy for other people. The only thing that counts for them is their own progress, their own wealth. The economics, they don't hide behind math, they hide behind economics. And basically what they're hiding is they're hiding their personal greeds and they're hiding their own personal incapabilities behind economics. And you get innovation as pure packaging, just to enrich the MBA. And then finally, the culture of big organizations. The big organizations are simultaneously too big an audience, too little an audience. This means too big an audience, lots of people who are not fully informed about what you're doing, observe what you do and bitch about it and get in the way of it. And then too little an audience means it's very hard to get any good idea that you have noticed and supported. Big organizations become their own world. They lose all sense of customer, client, and service. 3, it takes continual fighting just to do nothing or the same thing all the time. Number 4, novelty gets exaggerated because it's so hard to get anything new done in this bureaucracy that you start praising lower and lower levels of accomplishment. You force out anything that's great and new because it doesn't fit the present. It takes so many committees and so many people have to agree on something that by the time you agree on it, it's a generation out of date. It flows in homes. Nothing flows and nothing is loved. And so anything that's good is done outside. Simply you have to leave to do it. And so big organizations are simply the mom of venture businesses. All the good people and good ideas in them are driven out by their own incompetence. So these are the 11 cultures you have to handle if you're going to be innovative. And this is not the only approach to innovating. I have 60 others. But this is an extremely powerful view of innovating. I've got a whole book. I've got several books written on it that give you the cases in detail. Many men are not good at emotion. They're certainly not good at social relations. And they are good at manipulating and intimidating. But they're not good at mutual relations, reciprocal relations. And they're not good at handling emotions. And therefore, cultures are invisible to them. And you can generally control CEOs quite well using cultural factors that they're blind to, which is a lot of fun.